the one you've all been waiting for, is here. Well, boys,
It's crack.
welcome. You see, what are you doing? Oh, not the Sullivans. You're not putting the Sullivans into the Sullivans glass.
Sponsorship stuff. Sponsorship.
Sullivans is associated with season 3 of the Film Junkies podcast.
Sullivan's
I'd like to
clear.
very kindly thank you for coming along this amazing journey with us. I'm joined by Timmy and Eric, who are Timmy on my left, Eric on my right, who are, I think they're friends for, how long are you friends for?
We were just talking about
You
it.
can say
Nearly
too
10
long
years.
if you.
It's too long. Yeah.
It's 10 years. I have memories of 10 years ago. Like
It's
that's
9
crazy.
years actually.
Nearly 10 years.
Next year's the big anniversary. You're
I know.
taking me on vacation.
Oh, that's
I
lovely.
can't wait.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Well, lads, it's great to have you here. How are you feeling? You feeling good?
Apart from being sick, there's going to be a lot of coughing.
Just for people who know, we were shooting this all day. The guys have been here since 9 o'clock this morning. They've drank, I'd say, between them about 10 coffees, 2 Red Bulls.
I've had so much coffee.
And you've
I have a
definitely
Red
had
Bull right
pints.
here.
I'm
I've had
convinced.
2 protein bars and apple turnover. I had 2 breakfast bars. I think like a little protein ball or something. I'm crashing.
Every like 5 minutes, he was like, "I need to get food. I haven't eaten a thing all day. I've just had coffee."
You can live off it, boys. You seem in fantastic spirits, if I'll be honest.
Yeah.
No. Films, movies and that. You guys were talking about Always Sunny Outside.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all the seasons are on Netflix. You said the new seasons come out
Mm-hmm.
every night, hear me. Every night, I'm saying every year because I do the podcast every year. I'm getting mixed up now. Every night, I can hear Eric watching it. I haven't seen the new season, but I do want to start watching it this weekend because it's a bank holiday, so I have time to do it. But what do you make of it? You both seen it?
I've seen it. Have you seen it?
I'm about, where am I? About
How
halfway
far are
through.
you?
There's a lot of episodes.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
about
saying, yeah.
halfway through.
It's definitely like the thing about the new season is they're definitely trying to find ways to make it fresh. Like there's 1 or 2 episodes that are treated and filmed like it's a movie. It's completely different to It's Always Sunny, the way they shoot it, but it's actually still fresh. Like you said, a while ago, you compared it to South Park. 'Cause
Yeah, it's like the closest thing to like a live action South Park.
Yeah.
But
just-
it's also like, sorry to cut across, it's almost like if you actually watch new South Park, I recently finished watching all 25 seasons. I did it in 4 months.
Jesus.
No
No wonder he's drinking coffee, but he's dead for like weeks.
But the thing about it is, like, if you actually watch new South Park, if you watch something like Family Guy or The Simpsons, they keep the same formula going constantly. And South Park has switched it up massively. And you can tell that Sunny have reached this point as well where they're like, okay, we get it. The joke is that they're terrible people. But they've changed it up and they've added a few things to it. And I think it's made it way better.
Did you say you watch it?
I've seen them, but not the new season.
Oh yeah, okay. So you're probably even in as far as me, you know. But
Well, you started, but I haven't. But yes, you say there's a lot of episodes. So if I started, how many episodes are even on this new one? Is it same as?
I think it's 10, yeah.
Okay. Well,
is it 10 a season?
Yeah. There's
thought it
about
was
4
more.
episodes based in
I've been
Ireland.
instructed to pull your mic a bit closer and speak fluidly.
Me.
There we go.
How's that?
Lovely. You
Right.
sound beautiful.
Oh my.
This is actually an audio. We're doing ad lib for the new season of Always Sunny. And I said it there before we started. I'm dying to know who that Danny DeVito double was. Because I saw the casting call. It came into... it went into Cork Actors Directory. And I was like, if somebody goes for this, I want to know who this person is that thinks they look like Danny DeVito.
Imagine getting a call from like
Your agent.
Your agent. Just put you in for this there, Eric. It's like, oh cool. Wait, what are you saying?
everyone on all of those Cork Actors Directory and stuff, when that got put in, everyone was like, just get Michael D. Higgins to do it. Like,
Oh yeah, I remember that actually, yeah.
He's the bap. Like,
It was Film Network Ireland that it went into loads of people, but like people were going for it just for the shows, being fans of the show. They were just putting themselves forward anyway.
Yeah.
Not even looking like anything like Danny DeVito. But then again, I was so curious. I was looking at some of these people. They're like, email sent, PM sent. I'm looking at their face profiles. Like, you're nothing like Danny DeVito. What are you doing?
It's like Danny DeVito's 6'2", isn't he?
Yeah, he's 6'2" with blonde hair.
Yeah, but have you seen like what some of the stunt doubles for like actors look like? I was watching what show was it recently? Oh, it was one of like the quizzes of the year, big fat quiz of the year kind of thing. And there was 3 guys on, and they goes, you have to guess what these people do, and they were like asking questions like, do you all do a variation of a similar thing? And they're like, yeah. And like one guy's like 6'5", big muscly guy. You know, there's like a scrawny guy. You know, there's like looks like someone's dad, like short, even half
I think that's
bald.
my dad.
And then it turns out they're all stuntmen for James Bond. And you're like, oh, hold on a minute,
really?
what? Like, and they like show clips of all of them. And one's the driving stunt double, which makes sense. But like, even the other 2 guys who look nothing like each other and nothing like Daniel Craig, and it just shows like the cuts between like Daniel Craig jumping, and it's like they like pause, like that's him there.
I love when those things are so obvious. I love when you can see it so obviously and you point it out straight away. Like if there's like a back double.
Yeah.
I think I only realized the other day as an actor you have the right to request a stunt double or like a body double for the entire process of shooting. So if you don't agree to it at the beginning, you can literally turn to the producer and say, I don't want to do this nude scene, I want a body double. So like I'd be trying to find those people is actually difficult. But then as you say, James Bond, one of the stunt doubles is just some scrawny dude.
Yeah,
driving the car. So there you go.
It'll be anyone. You can get anyone to be a stunt double unless you're Tom Cruise. He disagrees with the idea of.
I feel like he'd get annoyed if he got like a stunt double. He's one of those guys. It's like, no, I'm too good now. You're too good. You're not anywhere near my standard. He broke his leg with Mission Impossible.
Also, they'd probably get a guy who's like 5'1", and he's like, "What?" Like, no, that's so tall you were.
Yeah. Oh no, he wouldn't take it at all. I was watching a video actually recently of him and how on talk shows he's extremely like specific about the way he sits on talk shows because he's obviously so short. But I think when they filmed what was it what film he did where he played an assassin, was it Jack Reacher? No, it wasn't Collateral. I think it was
that's a good movie.
It was there's a scene with him and another actress, and this actress is quite tall, and Tom Cruise obviously we know is only 5'1". In the entire shoot, he looks at in the entire film he looks the same height as her. They actually genuinely, she was wearing no heels, and he was wearing like big boots to make the height difference way out. This is Jack Reacher. It was Jack Reacher. I can't remember the actress name. She's British, but I just thought that was funny when I found that out after because he looks so. It looks so strange when the short person looks really tall and the tall person is taller, but he's just being brought down. So it's like he's quite broad anyway, but it's very strange to look at. Like,
do you know what? Stuff like that gives me hope.
Well, he probably pushed
Tom
so
Cruise
much for that.
Is short. Thank God. I have a chance.
Well, yeah, we're short kings.
Yeah,
so Timmy can't speak for us, but we're short kings.
No, because I'm clearly 6'2" from what you can see.
Yeah.
No, it's like because my mom went
kicking my legs here. We're playing footsie.
Yeah. My mom went to see Aerosmith live in concert. Not a film thing, but my mom went to see Aerosmith live in concert, and she could not believe how small your man is, the lead singer. Why am I forgetting his name? Of Aerosmith.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah, Steven Tyler. He's like smaller than Tom Cruise.
Well, then the artists like that get caught out because they do live performances, whereas film you can just cheat it all the time. And then on talk shows he like leans forward really heavily and spreads his arms out.
Yeah. Always behind the table.
Always behind the table, so the actress next to him is like leaning back a bit, so she's slightly slouched.
They'll probably do like
crazy
forced perspective or something. Like him sitting.
It's
like
actually he's always sitting onto like the straight left of the presenter. I watched on the Graham Norton show, and every time he's been on the Graham Norton show, he's in the same seat all the time. I'd say he must request that.
Do you reckon
we're just shitting on Tom Cruise for the next hour?
Do you reckon when Tom Cruise is doing movies, he makes the director watch like a load of Hitchcock, so he know like you have to do forced perspective while I'm shooting. So go watch Vertigo and we'll know what to do.
We're gonna get a call after this or something.
No, we're not that big yet, by.
This podcast is sponsored by
2 minutes suits across the road. They want to speak with you.
Yeah, I mean, what were we saying? Oh yeah, Always Sunny. Yeah, I need to start watching that.
It's great, man.
Last time I was talking to you, Timmy, before today, me and you were drunk off our heads, and you recommended BoJack Horseman to me. Kokak Horseman, I think I wrote down in the end. Great, I put that into Netflix.
It's a better name.
Do you know what? It's probably been mentioned somewhere in the episode because that show, I would have such a laugh for like 35 minutes an episode, so I'd have laugh for such a good time. And then at the end of the episode, I'm like, Jesus, that's
crushed.
It's unbelievable.
Well, there's a quote that he says. I think there's one episode where he's at the end of a bar. They're sitting in a bar, and I think his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend gets married to, I can't remember, but basically there was a quote that was said, and I was like, I stopped watching the show and I went for a walk. I was like, Jesus.
There's some heavy.
Because I spent the whole episode laughing at what was going on, and then it just hit me with this deep quote. I was like, Jesus.
Or the quote as well I love is Phoebe from Friends' character when she says, she goes, when you look at someone with rose tinted glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. And I was like, what is the show doing to me?
One of the best quotes I've ever heard.
Yeah, actually.
It's amazing.
So good. But like, we were talking about 13 Reasons Why outside a while ago for some reason.
It's because you know why? It's because there's a YouTube channel called YourMovieSucks.org, right? And they do a read through of 13 Reasons Why. And I started watching that before I actually watched the season or the series. And I watched it unironically, and I couldn't watch it the same because it's so funny. They do like a talk through or a watch along. That's how we started talking about it. We're not just watching 13 Reasons Why for no reason.
You showed me the season 3 one of it, and I've only seen the first season, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, I enjoyed it a bit, but
first season was very good, but then they just completely.
But I just seen that Your Movie Sucks thing, and they're on it with the guy who gets shot in the head, and then the next scene he just walks with a limp. He's
got a
He
cane,
just got shot in the head, but he just walks with a limp.
Yeah, it's moving. That's
so funny.
The reason why I bring it up is because people talk about 13 Reasons Why and they're like, Jesus, isn't it brilliant that there's a show that's talking about depression and talking about suicidal thoughts and all this. Then you're like, there's BoJack Horseman, which is way better.
But because they're animals and they're talking, people don't take it serious. Like,
but you do reach a point. If you get like 2 or 3 seasons in, you completely forget that you're looking at animals, despite the fact that there's about 50 jokes an episode about the fact that they're animals.
My favourite character is when the Penguin keeps ringing him looking for the he's looking for the what is he what's he writing for, what's Bojack writing for him again,
his memoirs or
his
something.
memoir. And the more he rings the less stuff there's in the building because they're running out of money. Oh, it's so
And
funny.
eventually there's just guys like taking stuff out of the office like
Bojack, we really need those memoirs, man.
It's like Penguin Publishing because they're penguins, and then you just look in
Just
and they're all,
got that.
yeah, they're all sitting around a barrel like trying to keep the lights on.
Hey, Bojack, listen, man, we really need those memoirs. Oh, it's so funny.
You know who plays the Penguin as well as Patton Oswalt. And
Oh,
just-
really?
He's just
It's
funny
so
in
perfect.
everything he does, like Patton Oswalt.
Oh,
He's
that's
great.
so funny. There were sure I got a big surprise when I saw John Krasinski playing or coming on. I think it's maybe season 3.
He's
He
Secretariat.
plays Secretary.
But he's only in season 2. He's Secretariat. Like as the show goes on, they just get Will Arnett to do it.
because then a couple episodes later, Andrew Garfield's as a character was in it, and I was like, they're hardly going to get Andrew Garfield to voice this. I don't think it wasn't him in the end.
There's actually a funny story behind that if you actually watch it, because every celebrity they asked to be on that show went on it.
Yeah.
So like Paul McCartney's on it. Like Naomi Watts is in it. Like just any actor you see. Like there's a bit where they have the cast of Bones and they're just watching Bones in the background on the TV and you can barely hear it. And it actually is the cast of Bones doing the voiceover. So everyone agreed to do it. And there was only 2 people, I think, that didn't agree to go on it.
so not everyone.
Yeah, and not everyone. Sorry.
You put me
sorry.
up there too.
Cut that.
Do you know what now? And so Andrew Garfield must have been one of those people.
And he was one, yeah.
I don't know about him, man. I don't know about him. He seems like I love Spider-Man, and I watched Spider-Man Home. It was great. I just I see him do interviews in all these talk shows. He's such a lovable guy. He's so nice, and this, that, and the other. But if you see clips of people like going up to him in the street and saying, "Ask for an autograph," no, I understand if somebody comes up to you and hassles you, you are in your right to say go away or whatever. But it's like people going up to like, "Hey, I love you. You're my Spider-Man," and he literally just says, "Okay, man, go away. Like, fuck off." And like,
Yeah, I heard that.
I kind of look at him like, okay, are you literally putting this on for a show, or are you actually like this? I don't know. I'm sussing you, Andrew Garfield.
I don't know.
I'm sussing you.
I think if I became famous, I'd get sick of people really.
I thought you were famous.
Famous enough, yeah. Sure, why else would you have me on?
I know over 7 people. And 2 of you are here. So.
You have not where?
Hey, I have more followers on Instagram than the Riddler has. So
He's got like 300? No, 500.
507. I saw it last night.
I love seeing, actually, I go on TikTok sometimes and I see people doing skits of like Riddler in TikTok lives, and he's like saying all these stuff, and then it's like, oh, yo, this guy, thanks for the dono. It's like random people.
When I saw Batman last night, and when there's the bit where he's talking to his followers, I was waiting for at the end of it for him to be like, thanks for watching, like and subscribe. The Patreon $2 a month would go a long way.
And that's all. When it's the same, it's the live stream, and even the comments when I was watching the film, I was paying attention to the comments that were coming up on the screen, and they're actually kind of good. Like most, you'd see a lot of bullshit, pretend comments that would never be posted.
Yeah.
It's actually quite real, and I was like, okay, this is kind of shit trolls would put in.
Yeah.
You saw Batman last night.
This is the section of the podcast where we talk about Batman.
Yeah,
For the next 2 hours, it's just Matt Reeves.
He called me. Was it last night? Did you go see it last night?
Mm-hmm.
He called
He
me.
literally saw it at the same time as us.
He called me the other night, and he kept calling me, and he was in work, and he'd take my phone out of my pocket and like run into the lane. I was like, "You okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think I might go see Batman. I'm not sure. Do you want to come with me?" And I was like, "I'm working." And he was like, "Oh, I might go see it. I might not." And then I was like, "Look, it has a Nirvana song that plays over a motorbike. Go see it."
Yeah.
I wanted to say it so much.
Such a good use for song, though.
Great use. No, because I was like, I should really, go see a movie that came out this year before I go on the podcast.
Yeah, I've seen like 4 films this year.
I mean, I think 2 of them I've seen with you. With Batman and Spider-Man.
Batman and Spider-Man, yeah.
I've seen...
We had good discussions before going into Batman about like what we think will happen, what we'd like to see. And
how much you hate Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan.
Barry
Sorry,
Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan.
Barry, what do you make of Barry Keoghan's Joker?
Yeah, Barry Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan.
I don't mind him at all. I've liked him in
He's a good
everything I've
actor.
seen him in. Sure, he's
I
I
just
think
couldn't-
Eric knows who he kind of is off the camera.
No, I
So-
don't. I've
He's,
never met him.
You did. You saw. He said he was a shithead in some bar in Dublin.
Like,
Cut that.
he could be. Look, I don't know, Barry. If you're watching,
Oh,
I'm
Barry-
still open to collaborating,
Are
bro.
we big enough for him to be watching? Nah.
I would get him on.
I'd say.
Barry.
Get him on.
I mean,
I mean,
the sky's the
sponsorship
limit.
now, bro.
Yeah, he drinks Sullivan's, doesn't he?
You could
Yeah.
probably, You could probably
He
get pumped
recommended
into
I got some
him.
hookups. So what were you saying before we went in? You said what it was going.
Yeah, we had like loads of ideas about what we think might happen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What we'd like to see. One of my favourite was, as much as I love a lot of takes that people have done with Batman, I actually really love Christian Bale. Some people like absolutely hail him, and some people hate him for what he done with Batman, and they don't get the fact that his Bruce Wayne character was supposed to be kind of, you know, pure playboy. He was supposed to separate himself from Batman, and people were like, I don't get it, he's just so different. And I'm like, that's the idea. But still, a lot of people still go with the same take for Bruce Wayne, where it's like he's kind of a very rich, famous playboy, whatever. Whereas I was like, I kind of have a feeling they're going to do something with the Bruce Wayne this time, and I'd love to see them do it right. And if anyone's watching, spoiler alert, the fact that he's actually like a recluse, like a hermit.
He's goth.
And he's pure goth.
Gotham, yeah.
I
The
think,
goth of Gotham.
but then you had the people who just worshipped the Chris Nolan films that were like, oh, well, I didn't like the way Bruce Wayne was so gothic. And I was like, but he's very early in the days of Batman, so you can't expect him to be comfortable coming in and out of the suit so
Absolutely.
easily. So
Yeah.
it's purely, and it's a Riddler movie, like Batman Lost.
But,
So
yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
like you can't expect him to be totally confident outside of a suit when he's not even barely in the first place.
What I found was interesting, and this is something that happens with like a lot of superhero movies, is the movie is about the villain. Like a lot of times, so you watch, Dark Knight, it's about the Joker. I would say The Dark Knight Rises is about Bane. And it happens a lot. Like, and then they made Suicide Squad, and they were like, let's just make a whole movie about him.
Yeah.
But I felt that this one was actually about Batman. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there was a lot of Batman in it, and he
Oh,
was an actual detective. Like he was an actual.
Yeah, I like the way
very clever.
it was more detective side. Did anyone notice that the Batmobile conked?
But see,
Did you notice that? I was watching that scene and this is great. The lighting was brilliant. The car looked amazing. Penguin was staring at him. He was getting really intense. He's like, when's it going to happen? And the car just goes.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Can you imagine sitting in traffic and you see that like pulling up next to you, and he's about to like ride off? Do you know that kind of scene that you always see? They look over and there's a kid in the car, and he looks at him, he drives off, and Batman just.
well, I was really sitting there and I was like, as soon as he conked, I kind of laughed a bit and I was like, what the hell? It was like, wasn't it an aggressive kind of like rev, or did he actually conk the car?
No,
I was like, what?
sure, he's only about 21 in the movie. Like,
Yeah, true. Probably going to be drive the car. Yeah, probably
he
build
only
can't
passed the
drive.
stereo test the other
I
week.
couldn't believe it. I was like, did they just conk the car? Because then the chase scene was amazing. after that.
Oh, that was like my favorite.
It was
scene.
amazing, but
unbelievable.
also I don't want to do spoilers or anything. But like,
I think we're gonna pass that.
But,
We've already
like,
spoiled it.
a lot of people died in that chase scene just so he could catch the penguin for like 10 minutes.
That's
and
actually true.
let
Yeah.
him
I
go.
feel that's the thing in
and
a lot of Batman
civilians,
films.
like big trucks, were just destroyed. Like worse than any Michael Bay film. That was mad.
That
Yeah.
was very Michael Bay. wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I feel that's the thing in every Batman film. He's like, I have one rule, and then he like immediately like goes against that rule, and just kills like a lot of people.
Do you remember in The Dark Knight Rises?
He kills more than anyone. Like,
Yeah, in The Dark Knight Rises, there's this bit where like Selena Kyle, Anne Hathaway is like trying to kill someone, and he's like, no, we don't kill people. And then later on, he's about to get killed, and Selena Kyle comes to save the day on his like bat bike thing that has guns attached to it, like that's built into it, that she uses to kill him. So there's this great sketch where it was like, we don't kill people. Anyway, this is where I got the gun made. It's attached. Just press this button and it will kill someone.
Yeah, it's like that in the first Christopher Nolan one, where he's there with the what are they, ninjas or whatever, and he won't kill the guy, something like that, whatever they are, and he won't kill the guy.
You can call him the Mandem.
And then he blows the building up 2 minutes later. So he's like, I won't kill that guy because it's against my rule. But 2 minutes later, he blows up an entire building of people.
Yeah.
Have you seen the deleted scene? Barry Keoghan? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was.
I'll go to you first because I know he's just going to be. Like,
see, because there's the two Barry Keoghan scenes. There's the one where he's just.
that's true, actually. Yeah, I keep saying, "Oh, Barry Keoghan was deleted," but I was actually in.
But
the film.
the scene with him and Paul Dano, I thought was dumb.
Really?
I just thought they were like,
A lot of
what?
people don't like
What do supervillains do again? Oh yes, they maniacally laugh, and that's all
Yeah.
they did.
I mean, yeah, it was the whole basis of Barry Keoghan. Joker was saying about friends and stuff. They're probably setting up the next film to be Riddler and Joker related now. I mean, yeah, I forgot. Even to be honest, after watching that deleted scene, I forgot that scene was even in it because it's actually it's forgettable. Like
I actually saw the deleted scene before I saw the movie because I didn't think I'd actually go see it, and then I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's good.
they deleted it apparently because they didn't want it to overshadow the Riddler. Do you think it would have overshadowed the Riddler?
Probably. It's very Marvel-esque, isn't it, to just have a little scene at the end where they introduce a new character,
Like a post-credit scene? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
I heard as well it was something to do with if they were to do another film and have the Joker in it, they're not solid on what they want him to be like. So they kind of left him very vague. You only see bits of him.
You barely see him. Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't want to, like, if they put that scene in it, they would have been like, right, there's not much play we can do with that. We've kind of established what he looks like, what he's like.
If they didn't title it as Barry Keoghan's Joker, you actually couldn't probably, the general public wouldn't tell who that actor was. So that's how hidden it was.
Absolutely.
Like, the only reason it's blowing up for us is because he's an Irish actor.
Like, I don't know why there's so much Barry Keoghan hate. I've liked him in everything I've seen him in. Love, hate, other stuff.
Eternals? Yeah, I was just going to say, Jay said Eternals is terrible.
I'm not watching that crap.
God, I remember I watched that film and it was like I think it's 3 hours long. Is it 3 or 2 hours long? It's 3 hours. I remember I watched it on Friday night. I started at 6:30, fell asleep, woke up, got halfway through the film, went to Tesco, got a can of Monster, came back and finished the film. By the time I finished it, I was like, I've just wasted the last 5 hours of my life.
I was going to watch that, but mainly, like, I'm not a big Marvel fan at all. I can't keep up with them. There's a new movie every 2 months. I just can't
it's
keep
a
up with them.
change. No, I'm not gonna lie. I simmed for Marvel when I was maybe 2019, 2020. But now that I've come off that for Phase 3, I think they were doing with the Infinity War and Endgame, coming out of it now, Spider-Man was the only one that I've really grown attached to. But other than that, it's just like it's like work. It's like a chain line of just fan service.
I feel
that's it. Like, fan
even
service,
in new things, like
fan service can't be that good when you're just constantly giving fan service.
Yeah.
It would be like, if it was like the finale of this TV show that you loved, and it was like the way I'd compare it is like Game of Thrones, when they were like, the finale is all these things that we want to happen, and then all these things do happen in really quick succession, and it kind of ruins it.
I love watching the cast on like red carpets of that, and they're like, "What are your thoughts about the final episode?" And immediately characters goes like. Like all the cast are just saying, yeah, glad to be done, move on to different things, you know. None of them were happy about the way. It's the same for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. If you watch any of the characters, Oscar Isaac, if he gets interviewed, he's like, oh, I would have loved if my character did this and that, but you know, Disney didn't exactly want to do it, so here we are. These guys are salty, but they just get paid too much money to care. I've
actually started, because like I was a massive Game of Thrones fan when it was around, and I've just recently started listening to the audiobook, because I can't be arsed reading it, of the actual book. I downloaded Audible and everything, and do you know what? The only reason I'm doing it is because the ending to the show was so terrible that I have hope that George R. R. Martin is going to write an actual good ending, and I can only get to that by listening to like 200 hours of some fella in a recording studio. Yeah, I was just going to say, how do you come about an audiobook of it? Is it just like somewhere you got online? No, it's on Audible. Download it. It's like it was read out like before the show was even made, and then the guy who did the audiobook is actually in the show. He plays like a minor character in it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Actually, he probably got asked to do that.
Yeah. He was originally supposed to play like Maester or something or other, and he ended up being he couldn't do it, so he played like a smaller role. He's just some fella who like. Do you know, if you've ever seen it, do you ever see The Wildfire from like season 2, and he gives him Wildfire?
I think so. I've watched a couple of episodes of it, yeah. I mean, I'm not that far into it.
Have you not watched the show?
I've watched a couple of episodes of the first season, and I just, do you know what? I started watching it when the last season was coming out, and then everybody started saying how awful the end of it was. And I was like,
kind of ruined.
Do I want to get as angry as those people are? Because, like, I know it's a bad ending now, so I'm building myself up to be disappointed as everything else.
Watch the first like 5 or 6 seasons.
And then cut it off.
Yeah.
Make up your own ending after that.
Just watch the battles from season 7, and then just... Season 8 is just one big sponsor for like Starbucks, because there's coffee cups all over the place.
Yeah, which the fucking episode where Ed Sheeran was in it?
That was in season 7.
Was it? I kind of was taking the piss. It was like, all he summed up the episode was just like Ed Sheeran playing Shape of You, and he just says like 2 lines and that's it. And I was like, why would you get him in that? I understand he's big. He was big at the time. I remember his album came out. Was it I don't know, Multiplier Divide, whichever math symbol it was, and he was quite big at that year, and they got him in the show obviously. But like the show was big enough. Why would you need to get him in it? The guy also cannot act.
Yeah, no.
So you're crippling yourself there.
The reason they got him on was because Macy Williams, who plays Arya Stark, is a massive Ed Sheeran fan. I think they were shooting on her birthday or something, so they got him in like as a surprise. But I'm like, that's not how you make TV shows.
Oh well, I'm a massive Brad Pitt fan, but he can't come on my podcast, can he?
I say he can if you.
Well, he probably can actually if he's around. I
reckon you should get Paul Dano and Barry Keoghan as guests.
And in their character dress-ups. Mm-hmm. That could be cool, actually.
And you're like, lads, what do you think of, what do you think of the new season of Sunny? And they're like,
oh, do you know what? I laugh, actually. It's like, I want to like it.
It was better in
but I can also hear, like, a lot of just
Barry
Keoghan, Jamie.
Jesus, I'm the Joker.
Hey, Batman, you're dead.
I liked his voice, actually. It's quite,
like,
there's a line where he says, like, oh, so ridiculous or something. The way he speaks is quite like it's like his lips are affecting the way he speaks, which they put a lot of effort into the makeup. That's one thing I did like. But then he started laughing, and I was like, Eric's probably heard this laugh in that pub that he was talking about when he heard him chatting shit about someone. That's probably the same laugh. Eric behind the bar shaking laughs is like.
Speaking of the way people looked in that movie, did you notice how Colin Farrell looked exactly like Robert De Niro in The Untouchables?
I couldn't put my finger in it, and you said it a while ago, and I was that's what it is.
You know, in the you ever see The Untouchables?
I haven't, but
Robert De Niro is Al Capone.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you're saying he looks like him.
He's the bop.
Really?
And he sounds like him as well in it. So I reckon, like, do you ever see, going back to Game of Thrones really quickly, the guy who plays Joffrey, Jack Leeson, Corkman, big up. He based his character on Commodus from Gladiator, like Joaquin Phoenix's character. And if you actually watch the two of them back to back, they look and sound the exact same. And I reckon it's similar to that Colin Farrell went and watched Robert De Niro on The Untouchables and would just base the whole thing on that because he looks and sounds exactly like him. He was good in that movie.
Yeah, he's
I'd say
totally different.
I mean,
like
they probably tried to make Penguin look quite original, so they're probably, if it made him look like Robert De Niro, they're probably like, shit.
I could have done with more Colin Farrell in that movie.
Me too.
I enjoyed
He's getting his own TV show now, though, for HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Him and it's another character. I think it's what's the character played by how am I forgetting his name? He was in Transformers, and he's in a couple of TV shows. He plays the character who ended up killing John Turturro. That's it. He's going to be in that TV show. It's HBO Max, which makes sense because I think if they did that as well in Marvel, a lot of the characters in the big films that didn't get as much screen time, they then got their own TV show. Yeah. So which is probably what they signed on for. But that's being shot this soon enough, I think.
I'd watch that. I was very interested in his character.
I'd love more of that Gotham itself. I thought it looked amazing.
It was great Gotham.
And I think the characters like Penguin involved in that scene would be brilliant to watch. I think Batman itself was good, but I'd love to see spin-off shows like that, yeah.
I was baked off from watching all the rain. It was just...
You left the cinema and went straight into another load of rain.
It was lashing outside the
Cork
cinema.
City looks like Gotham by the...
Yeah.
It actually does.
It was like misty rain as well, do you know, like pure Gotham weather. Like.
And like I remember walking home, it was kind of rainy when we walked home, and like the lights on McCurtain Street, where you've got like flashy kind of theatre lights as well. It looked quite similar. But like when you walk out of a film that's 3 hours long and it's nothing but dark and heavy, and then you walk into it like, I can understand your feeling there. Sure, you saw it, 7:30. Yeah, we watched 3 hours long.
We got out about halftime, and the funny thing was when we were going in, we went for like a quick pint beforehand, and then afterwards we were like, before we were like, we go for a pint afterwards as well. And literally by the end of the movie, we didn't say anything. We just both knew that we were not going anywhere near a pub.
Oh yeah, do you know what drove me sparrows? I saw a load of people reviewing it, all these influencers people. I know what they do on Instagram, and they're like, "Oh, Batman's too dark."
Yeah,
are you fucking kidding me? Like,
that's
too dark. It was too dark. There was nothing happened. Now these are people who probably love Marvel movies to the point where like, there's like running commentary of comedy and constant jokes being made.
What was it like when Dune came out? I haven't seen Dune.
I haven't seen Dune.
There was someone like there's not like a single joke in the whole movie, and I'm like, no.
Have I seen that somewhere? I think you told me. Yeah. I heard I hear someone talking about that. Yeah,
it's like it's Dune.
Yeah,
it's not funny.
Actually, I remember thanks to IFTA, I got invited up to the premiere of it, and I remember I saw it around a load of people who are quite critical of films. And after we saw it, we all were kind of outside the theater talking about it, and they had like champagne and stuff outside for us to chat about it after, so it was great. But these people were like confused that there was I didn't know that this was a part 1. It didn't say Dune part 1. But when it came out in cinemas then like 4 weeks later, it said Dune Part 1.
Oh, okay.
So I finished the film and I was like, I was good, but I was like, is that it? Like they didn't, at the very end, it kind of shows some bit of storytelling or some bit of progression in the script. I only found out then from other people outside there's going to be a part 2.
Okay.
And I didn't realize the book is so big. Visually and cinematography wise, that was one of the best films. And I saw it in the Lighthouse, which is like a proper cinema where the sound and everything and even the theatre is brilliant. And it probably made the experience a bit better. If I saw it in the gate, it maybe wouldn't have been as good, but I just thought visually it was probably one of the best films I've ever seen. Zendaya was in the film for like 20 minutes, and she was in the entire marketing then for the film. You know, her face was everywhere. Like,
something funny about Zendaya was she's been famous now for like what 5-6 years, something like that, or like big A movie star for like 5 or 6 years. I hadn't seen her in a single thing ever up until like
I think Spider-Man was the first thing I seen with her.
I haven't seen that. Like,
the first film I seen her where I actually act before she did like that shitty Disney Channel film when she was younger. Do you remember there was like some random, I can't remember the name, but I remember being younger and seeing her and some other actress. But yeah, what was the film where it's Malcolm Marie? It's like a film where it's all it's in like a noir film, and the whole film is based around this guy wins an award I think it's the Oscars or something, and the whole film is about them coming home from the award ceremony,
Okay.
and him kind of the story that he wrote for the film was based upon her past grievances and her past trauma. And during his acceptance speech, he didn't thank her at all. She gets very annoyed, and the whole film is just about the fight they have when they get home, and it goes from loving them to hate, back and love and hate. It's very good, and I thought she was very good in it. But before that, yeah, you're right. I hadn't seen her in like anything to the point where like, oh, that's I remember her from this and that and the other.
Yeah,
There's nothing. It's like she just kind of jumped into it.
It became like a running joke in my house that like because everyone in my house loves Euphoria and I'd never seen it. And then
I haven't seen it. Dave's trying to get me to watch it.
I've seen it. Do you know what? It's extremely it's very definitely the actors that play it are like in their 20s, but it's like focuses on like teenagers in America. It's very intense.
It just sounds like it'll take a lot of energy for me to watch it. It sounds good, but it just feels like I need to prepare myself. Like even if was it you were watching BoJack and I said I'd really watch it, and then I was like, just remembering now I'm going to need a lot of energy to watch this. Do you know when you know you need to get invested in shows, and it just takes a lot out of you. Like I'm watching Breaking Bad now, so I'm just sticking with that
because it's easy going for you. Yeah,
I rewatched that about 4 months ago.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it since like I think 6 years.
Yeah.
What's your running joke?
But the fact that I'd never seen anything with Zendaya in it, and everyone else in the house loved it. So like I'd walk into the kitchen to get a glass of water, and people were like, "Don't look at the TV, Timmy, she's on."
There's I remember running jokes about Timothy Chalamet as well, like any movie ever starring Timothy Chalamet, because he made a load of movies there for like I think it was the last 2 years. Dune, The French Dispatch, Call Me by Your Name. He's going to be the new Willy Wonka as well.
Yeah, Dune as well.
Like he actually, I'd say he'd.
He's a very handsome man. It's very obvious to see, so he probably gets a lot of those easy roles.
He's gorgeous.
His jawline is ridiculous, and I'm like, he probably gets offered those lead roles because he's a face that's confident and good looking, so people will sell the film easily. But there was that joke where it's like anything ever starring Timothy Chalamet. It's like this documentary starring Timothy Chalamet. Him and Zendaya were just like the selling point of that film. But it was very good. I thought Dune was brilliant.
But I eventually saw her in something because my housemates all got together to watch the Euphoria finale, and I was like, well, you're all hanging out and drinking, so I'm not going to miss out. So I've seen the finale of Euphoria without having seen the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you probably can't tell. You can't really judge.
I didn't have a clue what was going on.
That's fair.
There was some fella in a bat.
Oh yeah, they do like do you know what? I think the main characters, every second scene is just shirtless or nude scenes. Like it's just the actors that must sign on for that show must get a lot. There must be like we started doing intimacy coordination in Actors Vision, and he was telling us about all the work that goes through working like nude scenes and intimate scenes. Even an intimate scene can be a sex scene to like just even hugging. It's the same thing, like it's human touch. They must. I'd say it's just constant intimacy on that show. Like you can't even prepare an actor to just do a normal scene. You probably have to go and prepare this nude scene with this actor and that actor. And I was like, signing on for a film like that must be pretty intense. It must get a lot of money.
Definitely.
Because like even one of the actors, Jacob, was saying he was on the show. He said unnecessary scenes where it's like he walks the shop, he's topless. You know, he goes to make a bowl of cereal, he's got no top on. Written in the script is just pointless nudity.
I wonder what that feels like as an actor though. Like if you sign on to do something, you're like, okay, I'm prepared to do that, but then you just feel like the scene, there's no reason other than it just being you topless for the sake of it. So you spend the whole day topless, just filming scenes, just like, yeah, could you just take your top off and make some bread again, like butter your bread there again? You're like,
I love it.
I have to say the soundtrack though for this for the show is brilliant. It's Labyrinth does all the music for it.
Oh,
and
he
I
does,
actually love the music. There's 2 tunes in it that are quite good. And then they must have a lot of money to be able to sign Labyrinth on for an entire TV show before it even got famous, because they planned to make it, but they signed him on before it even come out. HBO Max, like.
Isn't the guy who makes Euphoria, his dad is big? I can't remember his name.
I think, did I see something about someone who made it was in American Psycho, that he played a girl that had the idea for Euphoria played one of the girls that gets chopped up in American Psycho.
Really?
I actually think that's true.
That's a great movie.
She was like, she wrote the show, but when she was back in those days, she would have been like an actor or whatever, and she got a role as one of the dead bodies in American Psycho. I think that's true. I'm not sure. I'll look it up. But I think that'd be kind of funny, kind of cool to think that out. I watched that the other day, actually, American Psycho again.
Fantastic. I watched it in GIF form. Someone on Twitter just shared a GIF, and it was like, here, why not? It's all of American Psycho sped up in a GIF, and I just sat there and watched it for like 2 minutes, and I was like,
that's gas.
That movie's good.
I showed it to my buddy, and he's a big animal fan, so he got pretty annoyed when he kills the dog. You've seen it?
Yeah, when did I see it? I feel like I remember like certain scenes, like that scene with the what you call it, where they have the cards, like that's an amazing. We were going to do for Activision do our end of term kind of. You've done them already. You do these scenes and you have to pick a scene that's not iconic. And we were nearly going to do that, and we were like, I'd love to do that scene.
Oh,
but
like,
it's
let's see
it's
Paul
too
Allen's character.
iconic.
You
Yeah.
need like 4 or 5 actors for that, wouldn't you?
Mm. Do you remember when we
Maybe.
when Eric and I
That's something I didn't think of.
when Eric and I were in college, we had to do this exercise where it was like try to direct a scene. Even though we were in drama college, like studying to be actors, they were still like, you look, chucking a bit of directing, why not, you know? And we all had to direct a scene from a play. Like I did something from a Martin McDonagh play. I can't remember what you did.
I did Lonesome West.
Ah, you did. So yeah, and
There you go.
there was just this one guy in our year who was just like, I'm doing a movie. He was like, I don't really care about plays. I'm going to do a movie.
Oh, I was in it.
Yeah. Was I in it, or was I just there when you
You were in it.
rehearsing
You were the guy who had to just maniacally laugh at everything that I said. It was the
Have you told me this?
It was the
Did the laughing scene? From
the laughing
Goodfellas.
scene from Goodfellas.
Yeah. The
Oh, that's a great
And
scene.
I was Joe Pesci.
yeah.
Okay.
He was terrifying.
Obviously because of my acting ability, not because I'm 4'2"
Eric also in college played a
And look
telescope.
like him.
and a telescope. I
Yeah.
also played a telescope.
You played a telescope. A,
Yeah.
a
Sentient
object.
telescope.
We wrote for a second year show. We had to like.
Just a picture you do.
Oh,
Have you not seen the pictures?
I don't think so.
I
remember a picture like that if you showed it to me.
I'll send you a picture of it, and then you have to share it on the Instagram.
Okay, that's
because
done, yeah.
it's-
No,
That's
no
going up as
context.
its own post.
Just no context. Just me standing on the table with like a telescope coming out of my ass and just someone like staring into it.
Swear to God.
I thought you would have shown me that picture. No, I'm good. That's funny. That's
There's
going
also
up.
a picture of me from the same play. It was the poster for the play where I'm holding a telescope, not Eric's ass.
Again, no context. In a Superman suit with a mustache.
I'm a mix.
Looking at it.
I'm a mix between Superman and Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yeah.
That's gas.
So
wait, so that was that an acting course you did, but you just did a bit of.
I was concealing in college.
But
Yeah.
like you were kind of mixing between all art forms there in terms
Kind
of.
of like definitely like 90% of it was acting, but our drama teachers, Ian and Belinda Wild, big up. They like say we do a big show at the end of the year, and that's kind of like our version of an end of year exam. We do a
Yeah.
show and we get tested on it. Like someone comes to the show and watches us.
Tested.
Yeah.
Tested, yeah. Someone
not it.
sits in the crowd like one of the
Takes
nights, you know.
notes.
We would do like 5 nights. Let's say we have like our own theater out the back. It was like the wooden.
Amphitheatre.
It was like it was
Kinsale
actually it was
College.
amazing. It was fantastic theater.
Really?
But we'd have to actually go and promote it down around the town. So when we were
Down the
doing-
town.
Down
Da-
the town.
down
The
the
boys
town.
down the town here want to see a play there, do you?
Down the
Down
town. We're
to
going.
town.
We have a play. Come for a play.
Yeah, we're
And,
here in Kinsale. Come see our show, please.
we're actually actors. Sorry, I don't know if you could tell. That
To be
we're
fair,
actors.
Kinsale in West Cork, you probably wouldn't be. If you sounded like that, you wouldn't be too up your own hole because Kinsale is where all the rich people are.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Kinsale's where all
But
the
like
hippies
we
are,
would
man.
we would have to go down.
Well, there's a mix because if all the hippies you own those boats, then I want to be a hippie down in Kinsale.
We would have to go down in our costumes and like promote the show to get people to go to
Walk
the
as
show.
a telescope.
So I had to walk down as the telescope. I skateboard. There's a video of me skateboarding down the hill, and like I can't see, so I'm just like going down the skateboard like on a scooter at like fucking 50 kilometers an hour. And then the year before we done the Chagrin.
The Chakra.
We call it the Shocker. That's not how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
And I had to go down with like a puppet dog, like a dog about this size, and walk around promoting it, going into like Eurospar,
Yeah.
and like
What day was this? I pay so much money to see that.
Dressed in clothes from like you'd pick up from like the 1860s, like proper famine clothes, like.
yeah, and like we would go all in.
Really?
We will just challenge each other to just be like.
Yeah.
Was it because Eric was telling me the story that you had to impersonate him?
Did I? I don't remember that.
Remember, we had to. It was like 3 months into the course.
Okay.
That would
remember.
be
And,
scary for me. If somebody sat up and didn't impression me, I'd be freaked if
Yeah,
they got
'cause-
any way resembled right.
Yeah, because we were talking about like different. Because we do actors vision, and we were talking about like
we do the actor's vision.
we do the actor's
Yeah.
vision, and we
There's
have
a
the
little-
vision of the actor
a
now.
little something.
Yeah, so we were talking
Do
about
it.
like different things that you would do in class, and just that whole idea that we were about 3 months into our course, and we kind of had a fair idea of each other. So she just got people to go up and be like, "Right, you're Eric now," and just get into the chair as Eric, and like you'd see people like just like, "Okay, how does and you like
I
trying
can't-
to interpret."
I can't remember my impression of you,
I
but I can remember your impression of me.
Oh, well, I had like 100 impressions of you. I remember Timmy getting into the chair and she'd be like, just do what Eric could do, and he'd sit like me. And I'd be like, so how did that make you feel when you sat in the chair like Eric? I was like,
I feel like a telescope.
pretty good. And I
felt
was
pretty,
like,
I felt pretty short, actually.
Short gang.
yeah, I had to like scoot the chair up a small bit.
Yeah.
What was my impression of you again?
See, there was this running joke in college that I would constantly reference movies and TV shows. So Eric goes up in front of everyone and he just goes, reference, 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 and that became my nickname. Spot on impression, to be fair.
Uncanny, really.
That's I can picture the two of you in Kinsale just making reference jokes for like a year or two, however long you were there.
Yeah, the first time Eric and I ever spoke to each other was in the middle of an acting exercise. Do you remember that?
I was wearing chinos. He thought I was
That's how long ago it was.
thought I was an F boy.
You thought
I wasn't.
You thought
You
I was
are an F boy. That's exactly what you are.
Yeah, and then I was like, I love football, and you were like, no, you don't.
Oh,
and I
I
was like,
didn't believe it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
yeah,
was
a
like-
Kurt Cobain shirt, and I was like, no, you don't.
No,
I follow Chelsea.
yeah, sure you do.
Yeah,
Name
makes
5
sense.
players.
To be fair, your last place you're going to bump into someone who's a football fan is acting school. That's
Actually,
one thing.
everyone in our course were like big into football. It was really weird, but anyway.
Well, we don't speak much of football these
Yeah,
days.
this is the Football Junkies podcast, brought to you by Sean Dyche.
Well, you see, you're a Chelsea fan, so you can speak, but we're United fans, so we're just stay in the dark.
Yeah,
It's a tough life.
it is a tough life.
Right, boys. We've 8 minutes.
Grand.
What?
Favorite film that you've seen this year so far, go. I'm putting you on the spot now.
I haven't seen a lot. I
Out of the
suppose-
3 movies.
Out of the 2 films I've actually seen, one was Spider-Man, one was Batman, both with you.
Yeah, true.
I like Batman because I think they just went. Every take for Batman was like, let's make it darker, let's make it darker. This one was like, okay, let's make him flawed, and let's make, you still see him making mistakes. You still see he hasn't worked out all the kinks of who he is.
Yeah, it's easy to make someone flawed when they're just beginning something like that.
Yeah,
You're obviously not going to have everything worked out.
like even though like the Nolan trilogy had Batman Begins, which is like the movie that everyone forgets about, but it's actually not a terrible movie. Like obviously it has the background of how he became Batman, but I feel like that movie and The Dark Knight are completely separate, and you could just watch The Dark Knight on its own, and it just seems like when you watch it that Batman is just this magic being that is imperious to any damage or anything like that. But then this one, I felt like he like, I know like Robert Pattinson's like what 33, 34, but the character seems like he's like 23.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I love the Wayne Manor, by the way. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very gothic as for the theme of the film. But you're used to Bruce Wayne being like a playboy, and seeing that was just refreshing. Like it was.
Yeah,
just
I loved
nice.
it. Just
I
the
loved
fact that he was.
There wasn't enough scenes with him and Alfred though.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. Yeah,
I don't know. I think I wanted more of. I think he controlled the scenes pretty well. He was in. I think I liked Alfred in this. But
yeah, I
I
enjoyed
just
Andy
wanted more of
Serkis.
him.
Yeah, he's very good. I want more of Andy Serkis in anything I watch.
He's been in everything now. He's been in Marvel and DC. He's done stuff. What's another actor as well who's been in like Shazam and Black Panther and Spider-Man and everything. Can't remember the actor's name, but he's one of those actors that just dips and dabs in different things, and he
does what he wants.
He's
Like
very good in it too. He does what he wants, so he's more confident.
yeah,
A lot of people complained that there wasn't enough Bruce Wayne in this film, which I kind of.
I heard
there was
that
like
too.
2 scenes with him.
I mean, like he can. What do you expect? I mean, people are always going to be picky though, especially
But, like,
superhero fans.
People will complain there's not enough Batman, and then they get more Batman. There's not enough Bruce Wayne, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and then the movie's too long. It's too short. This film, that film.
Yeah, he didn't stop about how long the film was.
it's too long.
Oh yeah, but like this, I mean, if it was shorter, you might have said. Some people would. You'd say that's perfect. Some people are like, oh, I want a 3.5 hour Batman film. I want to be immersed.
Yeah,
It's impossible. To
But
people please.
you could have had one movie which is about him going after the mob fella or the Penguin, and then have one movie about him going after the Riddler, and then they could both be an hour 45 minutes each. Instead, they made a 3.5 hour movie or 3 hour movie with like 4 villains in it. You know, which I thought, as I said, I thought it was a great movie. I just thought there was too much going on, too many villains. Like there was a new one every like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
I get that.
That's fair. I mean, it's like you could say the same for Spider-Man with all these villains, but they were all introduced at the same time. But also they're recurring their roles, so it's different. They're not like starting their new art. They're starting a new villain. It's like these villains are coming back. So that's a good way to introduce a bunch of people. Do a Sinister Six film where you know where all these characters come from anyway. But if you're introducing these characters the first time, yeah, 1 or 2 max maybe would work.
Yeah, one thing I would say though is I really enjoy Matt Reeves as a filmmaker. I think the way he because he made the Planet of the Apes movies as well, which I think are severely underrated. Like every one of them is really really good.
I love the first one.
Yeah, it's excellent. And but like I don't know, he might have this thing for rain because it's always lashing in his movies. Like,
Yeah, it's true. Actually, the second film is just rain.
yeah, it's just raining the whole time. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Matt Rain. Yeah.
So Batman for you, Planet of the Apes for you.
Yeah. If we're talking about like movies that I've already seen, but I've seen them again this year, I rewatched In Bruges last week.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting watching In Bruges and then watching Batman and seeing Colin Farrell.
I was thinking that when I was watching it. I was like, how is this the same person? The same fella calling the Americans fat because they can't go up the thing. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting seeing Colin Farrell do something like that because he's again someone who doesn't like the limelight. He's quite down to earth and he doesn't stays off social media and all that stuff. And any performance he puts in Bruges, yeah, that's a great film.
Great movie.
Very as you say, it would be weird to see those two so close.
Because he even spoke about it himself, the fact that he separated his character from himself. So like the fact that he's so different in this film, and he was. I mean, he's a good actor anyway. I like him in a lot of stuff. But he even says it's the first time where he really went in and just like, right, there's no Colin Farrell, get rid of, can't see my face, I look different, and he just immersed himself in the role. And he was
he didn't know that all the prosthetics and makeup was going to come his way. He didn't know that. He kind of just took the role and said, okay, hit me with what you have.
There's definitely going to be a lot of people, and I'd say it already have, who have gone to see that movie and did not know that it was Colin Farrell.
Oh,
100%.
But there's a complete polar opposite. His accent was brilliant as well.
Well, he's always spot on with accents. His accents are
yeah.
always...
Yeah, true.
I love that when someone can like properly nail an
He's
accent.
like, people don't talk about him for like being the up there for Irish actors. I think he's one of the best around. Like, he's kind of
like the actor version of Bono. Like, we should talk about him. We should love him more, but we don't.
It's mainly kind of Cillian Murphy's these days. Which, to be fair, he's going to be.
Oh, we could do a podcast on Peaky Blinders.
With the Chris Nolan film coming out this year, and even Peaky Blinders out. It's just
that Cillian Murphy fella's going to be big, man. Keep watching.
Was you telling me that there was someone studying the Birmingham accent?
Oh yeah, he basically learned the Birmingham accent by going out and having his phone with him and getting drunk with a lot of Birmingham lads.
No, but remember someone was telling me that there was a school or an acting school learning that accent, and the teacher played a clip of Cillian Murphy's accent.
That's crazy
because it was so good.
Did you ever see
like, and the teacher probably didn't even know he was Irish, but the accent was so down to a T.
I watched an interview with him, and he's just speaking his normal accent, and a lot of people are like, I love the way you can hear his Irish accent pop in sometimes, and there's like a lot of people like, he's speaking with his normal accent, but people just assume that it should be like, oh, top of the morning, how's it going?
I saw something saying that he has moved his kids from London to Ireland because they're starting to develop British accents, and he's like, I'm not letting that happen anyway.
Roy Keane vibes, bye.
Yeah, tell you.
Oh, boys, I don't want to go.
I don't know.
We keep going.
Will we cut the cameras and just stay here?
We chuck another hour on.
We'll cut the cameras for you.
Or we'll just bring the cameras.
We need more coffee anyway.
We'll just bring the cameras to the pub. Like, we're just going playing pool and just going to talk about the same stuff.
Yeah, we all go for a coffee. I haven't had one in an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've crashed. I've seriously crashed.
I've had two there in the last minute. I'm starting to feel it now. Boys, it's been a pleasure. That was good fun, actually.
Great crack.
Great crack. Again, we could go on for hours, but we can't because I'm on a budget.
Remember, this has been brought to you by Sullivan's.
Oh yeah, hold it up there, Tim.
Where to? What camera am I going to?
You're going camera 2, I'll go camera 1. Sullivan's association with season 3 of the Film Junkies podcast. Thank you guys very much for helping us out. There's Sullivan's on draft in Dan Lowry's. That's where we'll probably go at 6 o'clock.
We do like a shower.
No.
Okay.
Jesus. Sponsored by
because you'd be the kind of know that would smack the bottle against the thing and open it up.
Yeah,
you're an idiot.
Right, boys. Been a pleasure. Thanks to Timmy and Eric for being on. That's it. End season 3. I'll try
Call
not to
over
cry.
my gaff if you want, Dave, after.
That's your gaff is also my gaff.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is.
Do you know each other?
Yeah.
End this before we keep going. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.